even children, kuna kakitu tunaweza kufanya ili kanisa iweze kumetameta.
Endelea kutazama Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
Hello and welcome to the Catholic Focus News. I'm Asasha Elizabeth with sign language interpretation by Eric Maluki. Today we bring you stories that touch the heart of our communities, from faith-driven environmental action and healthcare challenges to education, social justice and uplifting celebrations of service within the church. Stay with us as we take you across the country, spotlighting voices, initiatives shaping our nation. Leaders, scholars and environmental advocates are meeting in Nairobi for the second Africa Peace and Environment Summit hosted at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. The three-day forum is drawing the link between peace, governance and environmental sustainability, with keynote speaker Dr. Samson Obala of the African Union underscoring that grassroots actors, especially women and youth, must be at the heart of the solutions. Susan Bulemi starts us off with that report.
It is day one of the Africa Peace and Environment Summit, bringing together leaders from across the continent under one roof here at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa in Nairobi.
Karibu to the Africa Peace and Environment Summit.
At the opening ceremony, Choir Vice-Chancellor Very Reverend Professor Stephen Bogwa warned that threats to the environment are also threats to human life and dignity, calling for renewed efforts to safeguard the natural world by planting trees, protecting biodiversity, and embracing a culture of environmental stewardship.
That we are getting to attack our environment like the military does. We are having an air attack, we are also having the water attack, and we are also having the land and the living organisms attack. We know that millions of tons of plastic enter the oceans annually, and deforestation has led to the loss of approximately 30% of the world's forests, impacting the planet's ability to absorb carbon and support life, according to UNEP.
The summit's second edition has attracted thought leaders, environmentalists, and peace advocates determined to address Africa's intertwined crises of climate change, resource exploitation, and conflict.
We are dealing with issues that are relevant, issues that threaten the very being of this continent. We are aware that the Sahara Desert is expanding by the day. And when the keynote speaker was talking about the Great Wall, Green Wall, which is being undertaken by the African Union, one prays and hopes that we will not continue what Africa is good at doing, holding seminars and symposia and colloquia to discuss things that ought to be done on the ground. And it is therefore my singular appeal to the organizers of this assembly that we must not be famous for holding conferences. We must be famous for going out into the world, rolling up our sleeves, and doing what ought to be done.
We're looking at the ecological foundation. Planetary wellness goes beyond more than conservation. It requires securing ecosystem integrity, combating climate change, fostering sustainable development, and Africa's unique ecosystem. From the Congo Basin to the Serengeti, not only home to our irreplaceable biodiversity, but also provide essential ecosystem and services that sustain millions of lives.
Renowned governance expert Professor P.L.O. Lumumba delivered a blunt assessment, stressing that peace in Africa cannot be separated from how the continent manages its forests, minerals, and water sources. He warned that reckless logging, desertification, and exploitative mining continue to fuel conflict and instability across many nations.
And let us focus on the conflicts that are going on in Sudan, in southern Sudan, in northern Mozambique, in southern Cameroon, in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, in Central African Republic, and low-intensity conflicts in different countries. And all these conflicts undermine peace, however described. Some of the conflicts are as a direct result of climate change, and some also lead to negative impact on the climate and the environment.
Lumumba linked environmental degradation to droughts, declining rainfall, and even recent wildfire outbreaks in Kenya, insisting that tangible action must follow lofty declarations.
Africa is in the business of declarations, in the business of protocols, in the business of saying things that it does not do. Let us not be like that. Let us move from the drawing board and get on the firm ground of reality and begin to do things that ought to be done. It can be done, it must be done, and we are the ones who must do it.
Pope Francis' encyclical Laudato Si connects environment preservation to a deep spiritual and social conversion. It reframes the ecological crisis not merely as a technical problem, but as a moral one rooted in human behavior, economics, and even our changed culture.
The Africa Peace and Environment Summit runs until Thursday, with organizers promising to translate its resolutions into community-driven projects for a greener, more peaceful Africa.
Grassroots actors, especially women and youth, must be at the heart of solutions. Empowerment builds on resilience and social ecology. We must ensure that the voices of women are youth, and their active engagement is enshrined in every action we will take. The third point is investment in nature-based solutions. Investing in restoration, wetland restoration, and regenerative agriculture bring multiple returns. It brings cleaner air for all of us to breathe, a better health for every one of us, and help us to build a climate resilience.
It gladdened my heart when I was invited to plant a fruit tree, because that is indicative of the direction that we ought to take. Each one of us here must now go out there, and if you have never planted a tree in your life, do so. We were told that tree seedlings must be massaged. Go out there and engage in massage. You are now tree masseuse. This is what we are converting you into. And I want to conclude by reminding ourselves and all who are present here that when we talk peace, when we talk environment, we must always remember that nature has a way of hitting back.
The future of Africa wellness is rooted in planetary wellness. The two are intertwined. We can't separate them. When we heal the land and the waters, we nurture ourselves. When we cherish our rich biodiversity, we preserve both medicine and meaning. In intertwining human and planetary wellness, Africa can lead the world, not only in surviving in the twin crisis, but also thriving beyond them.
Reporting for Catholic Focus, my name is Susan Bulemi.
The ball now is on you and I to ensure that we tackle climatic challenges head on. As you have heard, it is intertwined with peace in different parts of our great continent, Africa. Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale has called on President William Ruto to intervene in the health sector following the abrupt closure of St. Mary's Mumias Hospital. The facility run by the Catholic Diocese of Kakamega shut its doors recently over mounting debts owed by the Social Health Authority, SHA. David reports from Matungo constituency.
In Cholera Ward, Matungu constituency, Senator Boni Khalwale raised the alarm over the plight of St. Mary's Mumias Hospital, which has ceased operation due to an unpaid debt by the Social Health Authority.
SHA imemaliza Mumias yetu. SHA iliambia daktari wa St. Mary's, tibu watu tutakulipa. Akatibu watu, ikafika gharama ya shilingi milioni 117, 117 million. SHA ikalipa hospitali 9 million peke yake badala ya 117. Daktari ameshindwa, hawezi lipa mishahara, hawezi nunua dawa, hawezi nunua vitu reagents za laboratory, hawezi nunua x-ray, amefunga hospitali.
The senator now wants President William Ruto to move with speed and clear the arrears, saying the hospital has been a lifeline for thousands of residents across Western Kenya and its environs for the past 93 years.
Mheshimiwa President, wewe uliambia mimi, nikaleta na Bulindo na wajumbe wote wa Kakamega State House, tuingize watu wetu kwa kitu ambao unaita SHA SHIF. Watu wetu wameingia SHA SHIF, lakini mmewaingiza kwa shimo ambayo hawajui watatoka namna gani. Kitu inaitwa SHA SHIF imetumaliza hapa Mumias, imesababisha St. Mary's Hospital imekuwa ikifanya vizuri, lakini kitu yenye mmeleta mvumo wa SHA umesababisha hospitali yetu imefunga, watu wetu wanakufa, watoto wetu wanakufa, mabibi zetu wanakufa, tunasikia vibaya sana.
Hospitali hiyo imelipwa 82 million shillings out of the 117 million Kenya shillings. If they want to argue, we are ready to produce evidence how much they received in November last year, in December, everything. I have it even on my phone here. Naweza soma sahi. Kwa hivyo kama wamefanya mismanagement katika hiyo hospitali, wasiletee taifa nzima.
Khalwale dismissed as false claims by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi that the hospital had already received 82 million shillings in dues, urging him to take responsibility as a leader from the region.
Mudavadi ameambia umati ya watu wakiwa hapa Kabras kwa matanga ya mheshimiwa mwenye tumesika juzi kwamba St. Mary's Hospital haiwezi funga kwa sababu serikali imepatia St. Mary's Hospital 88 million. Mudavadi akasema, Mudavadi, sikia, wewe hujui Kakamega. Hata katika maisha yako wewe mheshimiwa hujai kanyaka St. Mary's Hospital. Wewe kama Prime Cabinet Secretary Muluya kutoka kwa jamii yetu mwenye ulipewa kiti kwa sababu ya kura zetu, ilikuwa jukumu yako kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo 117 million imelipwa.
His sentiments echo those of Kakamega Bishop Joseph Obanyi, who has also faulted government leaders for ignoring the church-run hospital financial crisis, accusing the Prime Cabinet Secretary of misleading the public.
So talking about 82 million that has been dispersed and then the hospital is still closed is cheap, pure politics. We need the money and then we will arrive. This is not a government hospital. It's a mission hospital that serves the poor people. So we cannot make politics out of the poor people. You can't blame me for suspending. If I can't pay you now, how do I keep you in the job? Even for the next month. And if anybody has to believe anybody, at least believe the church. We have no other ways where we spend the money except in those.
The outspoken senator went further to demand a shake-up at the Ministry of Health, accusing Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale and his team of corruption.
Ilikuwa jukumu yako kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo 117 million imelipwa. Hapana kwenda kutendea waizi. Waizi wako watatu, President Ruto, sikia. Ninasema mbele ya hiyo kanisa. Ninakuambia kwamba kama unataka SHA ifanye kazi, leo simamisha kazi Duale, simamisha kazi Masi Mwangangi, simamisha kazi Dr. Abdi Mohamed. Ukishawasimamisha, na nyinyi polisi anzeni kazi, mshika hao wizi, mwashitaki kwa sababu wameipa 24 billion shillings ya SHA.
With the closure of St. Mary's Mumias, patients in the region remain in limbo as political leaders trade accusations over who is to blame. Reporting for Catholic Focus, my name is Kiprotich David.
Well, on that story, the chairman of KCCB has commented on the closure of St. Mary's Hospital Mumias, and we'll bring you that report shortly as and when it's ready. Now, the county government workers are backing President Ruto's push for electronic procurement, saying it will curb wastage and close corruption loopholes. At the same time, their union is demanding urgent action on delayed salaries, a stalled Salary and Remuneration Commission review, and the unresolved fate of UHC doctors. Deborah Mwania reports.
The County Government Workers Union has backed President William Ruto's directive on e-procurement, urging governors to adopt the electronic system without hesitation.
We believe anything that will help the counties should be embraced, because we can see that they are saying it is a little bit hasty, mad, and we know what is also paining the national government, because the level of corruption everywhere, both national and down there, it's really disturbing. And we can understand why the president says we must do this, because it is believed, and we also believe it will help. It is a help both to the national government, county government, and to the citizen generally, because anything that can reduce corruption or bad behavior in the course of procurement will be useful to all of us. So we want to urge the Council of Governors to move, adopt it. We believe they are not saying it's not good. They are only saying that it's a little bit hasty, and this can be agreed and implemented. I think the government's concern is in good faith, and we support it, and we require the Council of Governors also to move in, to accept, because it will improve, it will help all of us. And I remember Council of Governors in the devolution conference talked a lot about the savage business of corruption in this country. It is terrible.
But procurement is not their only concern. The union also wants a quick solution to the standoff over universal health coverage doctors.
We have the UHC where we said, as I said in my previous comment, you can look a way of adopting, because that was something forced on us by circumstances. That was the COVID happening. That we still, even that, we need to agree on how to absorb. Employment is a major thing. In fact, the right of employment is the right to life. That is what has been also adopted by the United Nations now. Because how else do I survive if I have no job? So it should not be taken lightly, you know. Both levels must sit on that and make sure that UHC are absorbed. We don't want to apportion blame in respect of that, because it's an happening that was forced on us by circumstances of that time. But we have means to wriggle out of this. This is a matter for national government and county governments and shouldn't be impossible. We believe there is a way out, and funds sometimes can be provided in tranches. Supplementary estimates can be made, provisions in one way or the other. So this must happen.
On salaries, workers accuse governors of drinking their fate, saying thousands of county staff have gone for months without pay. And as the standoff deepens, the union says failure to implement the Salaries and Remuneration Commission's review since July last year is an outright injustice to the workers.
SRC walitoa mwelekeo na mwongozo kuhusu nyongeza hii ya mishahara mwaka jana, na hii ikatimizwa katika national government. Wafanyikazi waliongezewa na wale wa counties hawajaongezewa mpaka waleo. Na tunashangaa sisi kama chama ni kwa nini linatokezea saa hizi baada ya mwaka moja na kitu kupita. Ili hali hawa magavana wote wamekuwa tu nchini Kenya, wamekuwa humuhumu na wamenyamaza, na sasa hivi ndio wanadai hizi hela. Kuna kaunti mingi Kenya, mshahara wa mwezi wa 6, wa 7 na 8, na sasa tumeanza mwezi wa 9. Wafanyikazi hawajapata pesa. Na hawakuongea leo waseme ni pesa hawajapewa na serikali kuu ama wamepewa na zikaenda wapi. Wafanyikazi wamefungiwa manyumba, wafanyikazi watoto wao hawajaweza kwenda shule, wafanyikazi katika counties wanakaa na wasiwasi kwa sababu loans zao na makato yao hajapelekwa mahali kule ambao inafaa.
From digital procurement to doctors' pay and delayed salaries, the workers' union is pressing governors to act fast, insisting accountability must start at the counties. For Capuchin TV, Catholic Focus, I am Deborah Mwania.
And even as county workers throw their weight behind the electronic procurement system, governors are taking a different stand, demanding its immediate suspension, accusing the Treasury of rolling out a flawed platform that is disrupting essential county services, particularly in the health sector. They warn the system could derail the delivery of universal health coverage as counties take full charge of health services. Here is the report by Maureen Kimani.
The Council of Governors, led by Chairperson Ahmed, criticized the Ministry of Finance for launching the e-procurement system nationally after piloting it in only 3 counties without sufficient stakeholder consultation, legal review, or training for county staff.
When a new system is being implemented, there are basics, right? There is a piloting of that system so that you can troubleshoot any problems that you face along the way. There is capacity building and training. There is parallel runs. I'll give you an example. They tried to implement a new system called Human Resource Information System in September of 2024. It couldn't work. And the average county had about 3 weeks of delay in paying salaries at the time. They pulled it back, fixed the software, and they went live on it in December of 2024. If this thing was working seamlessly, we would not even be having this conversation. So this business of him saying that we intend to remove and plug papers out of manual, and procurement files or whatever. Why does everyone want to look good at the expense of counties? Why does everyone want to look like they're working at the expense of counties?
The governors say the platform has caused severe delays in procurement processes, crippling key sectors, especially health. Since the formal transfer of UHC implementation to counties, medical supplies have been delayed and frontline UHC staff are unable to operate effectively.
In Kiambu, we've had in this meeting now, the 123 health facilities are averaging less than 20% in pharmaceutical supplies, and they can't order.
In addition to concerns over the system, the governors have condemned attempts by the Ministry of Health to alter the contracts of UHC staff without involving county governments. They insist that any changes affecting UHC personnel must include counties, as health services are now fully devolved.
We note that the recent developments on the matter of UHC staff by the Ministry of Health is a deliberate attempt to set up the county governments. The ministry continues to paint a public picture that county governments are derailing the process of absorbing the UHC staff. County governments cannot be backpedaling with the ministry over a devolved function. In this regard, the Council of Governors reaffirms its commitment to strengthening healthcare service delivery across the country, across the counties. However, we reiterate that the ministry cannot alter the contracts to the UHC staff without the involvement of county governments.
Vice Chair Mutahi Kahiga reaffirmed the governor's commitment to service delivery, but urged the national government to respect devolution and collaborate with counties on policies affecting devolved functions.
Shida hii tungetaka tuseme kwamba kwanza kwa wafanyikazi wetu wote wa UHC tunawaheshimu. Nyinyi ni watu ambao walitusaidia wakati mambo yalikuwa magumu na mumeendelea kufanya kazi nzuri sana katika kaunti zetu.
Reporting for Catholic Focus, Amorin Kimani.
Well, and while some county workers back the e-procurement system as a tool to curb wastage and corruption, other leaders are sounding the alarm. Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata and Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua are now urging the National Treasury to fast-track the release of county funds, warning that delays are leaving counties unable to pay salaries, settle supplier debts, or maintain essential services. Here is David Kiprotich with that report.
Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata and Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua are calling on the National Treasury to fast-track the rollout of the e-procurement system to allow counties access to funds. The two leaders warn that delayed disbursements are crippling county operations and stalling service delivery. Governor Kang'ata revealed that counties have gone 3 months without their equitable share, leaving them unable to pay salaries, settle suppliers' debts, or purchase essential drugs.
Appeal to the national government, in particular the National Treasury, to get in touch with the control budget to allow money to be dispersed to the counties. Counties are suffering, Murang'a included. We need to pay salaries. We need to pay bursaries.
He noted that county staff are suffering from delayed wages, bursary payments have been suspended, and students are struggling to stay in school. According to the governor, the e-procurement system has disrupted budget processing, as no funds can be released until county budgets are fully integrated into the digital platform.
Our children are at home because the bursaries funds have not been released by those two offices, and the reason being that they are citing this outstanding issue of e-procurement, our inability to upload procurement plans. And we all know Murang'a has an ongoing program called Inua Masomo, where we pay full fees for 8,000 students in our day schools. But now we can't pay. because there is no money. Week 1 has ended of that term. We are now headed to week 2. We urge a control budget in the National Treasury to complete those new changes they have proposed.
Senator Wambua echoed the concerns, stressing that Treasury has a constitutional duty to release funds by the 15th of every month. He faulted the abrupt implementation of the system, suggesting a gradual rollout would have been more effective.
On how government is supposed to, the Treasury is supposed to release funds to county governments by 15th of every month, latest. All requisitions from the Treasury should be released to county governments.
The senator added that counties nationwide are facing similar challenges with stalled development projects, unpaid bursary beneficiaries, and unrest among county workers. He, however, praised Murang'a County for its development initiatives in ECDE, health, agriculture, and digital service delivery, urging other devolved units to follow suit.
And every time that you're bringing a new system, there is always a period to pilot a new system. As you roll out, as you continue rolling out the existing system, so that services don't stop. You don't just wake up in the morning and say we have an e-procurement, and this weekend I've told my people not to go to work, because that's what I heard the minister saying. This weekend I've told my people that they cannot go home. They must be in offices, making sure that by Monday, then e-procurement is rolled out. Come on. People need services. County governments need to procure drugs for the hospitals. They need to procure for even their ECD centers. So I am not opposed to e-procurement at all. I have a problem with the rollout. That there's a system that has been running. You just come and just terminate the system and begin to introduce a new system that you've heard from the governor himself saying it's not working. It's the same thing that we did with the movement from NHIF to SHA. You just stop a system, introduce another one. There's something called piloting. You do 50-50, you do 75%, then you do complete rollout of the new system and abandon the old system. You don't stop systems just like that. That's my position.
Reporting for Catholic Focus, my name is Kiprotich David.
Well, the e-procurement story continues to elicit mixed reactions, but clearly the success of such initiatives will hinge not just on technology, but on transparency, accountability, and the trust they inspire among citizens. Now let's head to Western Kenya in Busia County, where the county is stepping up the fight against Mpox with plans to roll out targeted vaccinations for those most at risk after the county emerged as the second highest in the country for confirmed cases. Authorities are calling for heightened vigilance even as the health department eyes inoculating thousands, including sex workers and long-distance drivers. Lillian Kimanthi reports from Busia.
The Busia County government is set to launch a vaccination exercise against the Mpox virus targeting people at high risk of infection. Residents have also been urged to take extra precautions to protect themselves from the virus.
Naona ni kwamba itasaidia kwa sababu naona marafiki zangu hapo kwa boda, nilikuwa na rafiki yangu mwingine ambaye aliathirika na huu ugonjwa wa Mpox na karibu apoteze uhai. Kwa hivyo naona wamechelewa kidogo, lakini wanasema afadhali wamekuchelewa kuliko kukosa kabisa. Kwa hivyo naomba tu kwamba tukitoka hapa tu walk the talk, nitaongea na vijana pale mashinani, vijana ambao pengine waamini kwamba huu ugonjwa unaua na ni ugonjwa ambao unasambaa kwa kasi. Kwa hivyo waamini kwamba Mpox ipo na wachukue tahadhari. Na tunawasihi vidogo tu kama yale kuosha mkono na kuweza kukaa na mtu mbali kidogo.
During a stakeholder sensitization meeting that brought together representatives from various sectors, it was revealed that Busia currently ranks second in the country with a total of 68 confirmed cases of Mpox.
Currently, we are having around 68 cases of Mpox with 2 fatalities. We are targeting around 1,500. That is for Matayo sub-county. And then the same activities will be running in Teso North. They will also be targeting the same number of target population. We've involved stakeholders from peers from the truck drivers. We've involved the representative from the sex workers. We've involved border borders. We've involved the religious leaders. They help us in doing advocacy. The information has reached all the targeted population.
According to the coordinator in charge of Mpox response in Matayos, Joan Wanyaga, the county's Department of Health plans to vaccinate about 3,000 people in Matayos and Teso North constituencies. The main target groups include sex workers, long-distance drivers, and health officers.
Mpox, as we've discussed with the team that was here, it's a viral infection that is transmitted from human to human, and the transmission is basically through contact. So, and this contact can be through shaking hands, can be through hugging, kissing, and even sexual contact with the infected persons. And you know, with this information we're giving to the communities, we expect that as we pass this information to the community, they are also able to internalize it and help us so that we have our prevention measures in place. Busia is a border county, as we all know. So it's vulnerable because now the first case, it was a trucker who was traced all the way from Congo, passed through Busia all the way to Mombasa. So being a border county and us having truckers coming through Busia, you find that these infections sometimes they are transmitted. The rates of transmission through these truckers to the community becomes high because now with the truckers we interact with them. We do business with the truckers and they also spend in the facilities that are around the border. So as we speak, the surveillance and screening is ongoing at our points of entry, and even Ugandans started their vaccination about some 2 or 3 days ago. We need to go back to our hand washing, we need to go back to sanitizing our hands. We'll also need to go back to putting on our masks wherever we are in crowds so that we are able to control the infections.
Lilian Kimanthi, reporting for Catholic Focus, Capuchin TV, Busia.
The call for the national government to roll out a school feeding program in arid areas continues to grow louder as hunger continues to cripple learning in Yatta and Masinga. Kenya National Union of Teachers NAT official Michael Kasimba Ngui warns that many schools are on the brink of closure due to lack of funds, even as teachers in hardship areas complain of punitive taxation. Paris Wangombe reports.
A fresh appeal has been made to the national government to roll out a school feeding program, particularly for learners in arid and semi-arid regions. The NAT Secretary for Masinga and Yatta, Michael Kasimba Ngui, says hunger has become a major barrier to learning, with many students unable to concentrate in class due to the lack of food at home.
Lakini kwa mashule yetu, uchunguzi ambao tumefanya kama chama cha walimu ni kwamba kuna njaa kwa mashule yetu. Hakuna chakula kwa mashule yetu. Tumeenda shule, tumekuta watoto wanalala wakati wanaendelea kusomeshwa. Hii ni kumaanisha shule hakuna chakula cha kukula na vile vile kwa maboma zao hakuna.
Ngui further warned that several schools in Yatta are grappling with severe financial constraints. He cautioned that without timely government capitation, some institutions may be forced to shut down.
Kwa hivyo tunauliza serikali kwa njia ya haraka provide school feeding program kwa mashule yetu ili watoto waweze kuja shule. Wasipopata chakula hivi karibuni, wataanza kuchelewa mashule, wataanza kukataa kuja shule, and the retention will be low.
At the same time, he accused the government of overtaxing teachers serving in hardship areas, a burden he says has condemned many of them to poverty amidst already tough living conditions.
Jambo la pili tunataka kusema kwamba ingawaji walimu waliongezwa pesa kutokana na ile collective bargaining agreement ambayo tulisign sisi pamoja na Teacher Service Commission, tunaona kwamba walimu hawapati chochote wakienda bank. Mishahara ikifika wakienda kwa bank wanakuta hakuna chochote. Hii ni kwa sababu kumekuwa na taxes nyingi sana kwa pay slip ya mwalimu. Wakati tulipatiwa pesa pay as you earn iliongezeka. Tukapatiwa pesa Providence Fund wakaanza kukata. Tukapatiwa pesa NSSF wakaanza kukata. Tukapatiwa pesa SHA ndio hiyo wanakata. Tunapatiwa pesa housing levy ndio hiyo wanakata. Na mwalimu anabaki kuangalia tu payslip ambayo imeandikwa pesa mingi, lakini akienda kwa bank hakuna pesa. Tunauliza serikali ipunguze kodi kutoka kwa wale ambao wanafanya kazi, walimu wakiwemo. Jambo la mwisho ni kwamba mashule yamefunguliwa na mashule bado wizara ya elimu pamoja na wizara ya fedha hazijatuma pesa kutoka kwa shule. Wangefaa kulipa pesa first term wakapatiana 50% of what they were supposed to give. Second term vile vile walipatiana 30% au kupatiana pesa zote. Kwa hivyo sasa kila shule shule za msingi, shule za junior school na shule za high school zote zinadai serikali. Kwa hivyo kwa mashule kuna shida nyingi sana. Walimu wakuu wanaofu hata kwenda kwa mashule kwa sababu wakifika kule nakutana na wale watu wanawadai, wale ambao waliwapatia chakula last term, walisha watoto hawajawalipa.
Reporting for Catholic Focus, my name is Paris Wangombe.
It was a song, dance and celebration at St. Francis Xavier Shikoti Parish in the Diocese of Kakamega as Sister Janet Meringina Ndoko of the Sisters of Mary congregation marked her silver jubilee, 25 years of service to the Catholic Church. Born and raised in Kakamega, Sister Janet embraced her religious vocation in the 1990s after completing her studies at Shikoti Primary School and Mukumu Girls High School, respectively. Following her perpetual vows, she served in diverse roles as a catechist, teacher, and administrator in Kitale and Lodwar, and as a pilgrim of hope in Uganda and Rwanda. Currently stationed at St. Mary's Mission Hospital in Mumias, of course, the currently closed, she also guides young people discerning vocations to religious life and priesthood. The milestone celebration brought together clergy, faithful, and community members in a colorful Jubilee Thanksgiving Mass. Take a look. Well, it was indeed a great celebration right there. And of course, the blend of traditional musical instruments really lit up the celebration. Now, the Secretary General of the ABC Church, Deacon Daniel Yumbia, has called on political leaders to uphold peace as they attend political gatherings. Speaking in Kakuda, Kangundo, Yumbia warned that some leaders are sowing seeds of division through insightful remarks, urging that they face tough legal consequences. He further encouraged Kenyans to acquire national identification cards and register as voters in readiness for the 2027 general election.
Tunapaswa kuishi kwa amani na amani ni muhimu kwa Wakenya. Nimeona kwamba kumeanza kuwa na furugu wakati watu wa siasa wanaenda kwa mikutano inafanyiwa, watu wanafuruga. Furugu ziachwe. Wale ambao wanapanga kufuruga mikutano ya wengine, tafadhalini, hii ni tabia ambayo haifai kuonekana katika sehemu hizi zetu, na hii inachangia kwa sababu nilisema wiki mbili zimepita, nikaambia IEBC waanze na shughuli za kuandikisha wapiga kura, kwa sababu wananchi wako tayari na wako determined kuchagua viongozi wanaowapenda. Hivyo basi nafasi sasa imetolewa na IEBC. Natoa wito kwa Wakenya wale ambao wamefikisha umri wa kuchukua vipande, wale wako na vipande, wale wako na vipande wachukue kura, wale hawana vipande wachukue vipande na wajiandikishe ili tuchague viongozi ambao tunawapenda. Kile ambacho ningependa kutoa wito kwa viongozi wa sasa, wale ambao walichaguliwa, kuna wale walitoa ahadi. Tafadhali, wakati wa scorecard umekaribia. Uko na nafasi ya sasa kufanyia mwananchi kazi yake. Kama hujafanya kazi na hujatekeleza wajibu wako, tayari wananchi wataamua. Hivyo basi, hata wale wapya ambao wanajitokeza, ningependa kuambia kwamba wauze sera na wasikue na furugu, kwa sababu Kenya ni nchi ya amani. Viongozi wa makanisa na waimiza wale viongozi wa makanisa, tafadhalini chukueni nafasi yenu katika uongozi wa kanisa na mutoe mwelekeo kwa jamii, ili jamii iweze kuishi kwa amani. Na hao viongozi muwaite kwa mikutano, ili furugu na mgawanyiko ulioko hasa wakati siasa zinapokaribia huo uazama uweze kupungua.
Now we shift the focus to our sports desk, where Harambee Stars have kicked off training at the Utalii grounds as the countdown begins to their World Cup qualifiers against the Gambia and Seychelles. Head coach Benny McCarthy is brushing off criticism over the omission of midfielder Austin Odhiambo, insisting his squad strikes the right balance between local and foreign-based players despite injury concerns. Skipper Michael Olunga has already joined camp as Kenya gears up to host Gambia on September 5th and Seychelles on September 9th, respectively, at the Kasarani Stadium.
And you kind of select based on players who's been playing since the season started, and then that's how the squad came to be selected. And obviously the boys from the Chan tournament, everybody's done well, so it's kind of unfair to say the ones who's here was the best ones and the ones who's not here. It's just because some of the positions that you have in the team clashes with some of the international players, so you have to make the tough decisions, and those are the reasons why you see the players that's here part and parcel. But I'm proud of everyone, and the players that's been excluded, they are still part and parcel of the team, and they just need to go back and play for their clubs, and then when the time comes, if they do well for their clubs, the door's always open to the national team.
Well, as you can all see, Ryan is a player who has a very good quality. You see his performance in the national team, just like any other player that was given the opportunity. And this is actually what we need. So it's a really good moment and opportunity also for other players to showcase their skills. And we'll work together, try to get the best out of each other. And that is what is the best interest of the country. Well, first of all, is to thank the government for ensuring that the facilities are quite well. And you can see even the training right now in Italy is quite amazing. The last time we trained here, it was not in a good state, but now you can see the facility. So this is what we've been trying as a country. Infrastructure is very key and pivotal in terms of development of football in this country. And kudos to the government for supporting every way possible so that these stadiums, these training facilities, they can be to top level for the players to perform.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino today led an inspection tour of the Talanta Sports City in Nairobi, accompanied by Sports Cabinet Secretary Salim Mvurya, Principal Secretary Elijah Mwangi, and FKF President Hussein Mohammed. The visit comes as Kenya positions itself to host major international tournaments, with the Talanta complex billed as a game changer for sports infrastructure in the region. Kenya pipeline boss Joe Sang, famously dubbed as the country's running CEO, has launched the Joe Sang Foundation with an ambitious goal of raising 200 million shillings to support the education of underprivileged children. Sang will use next month's Berlin Marathon as his fundraising stage, chasing a sub-3-hour finish. At the launch, corporate partners pledged over 15 million shillings on top of the 11 million already raised, with dignitaries and sports figures hailing the initiative as a model of sport driving social impact. Sang, who first ran the Chicago Marathon last year, says he is determined to turn his passion for running into an avenue of hope for thousands of children across the country.
My participation in the BMW Berlin Marathon 2025, happening on the 21st of September 2025. Allow me to start by sincerely thanking each and every one of you for creating time to be with us this morning. Your presence not only motivates me, but affirms the vision that I'm setting out is not mine alone, but one that resonates with all of us who believe in the power of compassion, community, and shared humanity.
Thanks to Joe Sang, I'm very happy that you have taken the chance to go and take part in Berlin Marathon. I myself, I will be also going to Berlin Marathon this year, so we'll be participating on the same course. Thank you very much. Henwanyuke is the world record holder in the marathon in my category in 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters, and the full marathon. So I'll be going to defend my record in Berlin, and I want to do my best in Berlin. But what I'm very happy that with Joe Sang is about what he's going to do. He's not running for himself. He could have slept, but now he decided to change and transform a life of one child there. We never know that child who will be going to be transformed. He might be the president of this country. He might be a great doctor in this country. So we are very happy serving humanity, serving God.
I see this partnership as the beginning of a long and joint journey, and I would ask all of you to open also your pockets to help to bring together the endowment money for this foundation, and then give these young boys and young girls a better chance for making it in life. I think when you see their eyes, you see their ambition and also their power, and that's what we want to support also as an embassy, and we would like to thank Joe for his energy, and we wish him all the best for the Berlin Marathon. Thank you very much.
My parents only paid school fees for the first term in Form 1. And for 6 years, I was a beneficiary of support from well-wishers, including His Excellency President Daniel Arap Moi the late. That is why when I was invited, I said it is important for people to know that sometimes without support from such organizations and well-wishers, some of us, or most of us, would not be where we are today.
So you have started a good cause that you will be rewarded handsomely. Those of us who are Christian, who believe
in the Christian faith know that your reward is not here on earth. I remember when I could not pay my examination fees in Form 4, and my father went to a pastor, a local pastor of Seventh-day Adventist, and got 300 shillings. I needed only 285. So the 15 shillings, when he came with the 300 shillings, the 15 shillings became my fare to school. That is the only time I ever boarded a matatu to school. I used to walk. Anytime the schools were open, I could walk 54 kilometers. And schools were closed, I walk again. Because after your parents, your brother has struggled to get you school fees, you don't ask again for fare. You also do your bit. And since you have your legs, you can do it. So that time, I got to use that fare, the 15 shillings, and it touched me. And I remember, who is this? And then he told my father that you will not refund that money to me. I have made my contribution to the.
The Joe Sang Foundation, that's the way to go, turning personal milestones into lasting impact for society. And that's all for today's Catholic Focus News. On behalf of all those that have made this possible, from community health and education to faith, sports, and social impact, our stories remind us that service, stewardship, and solidarity continue to define our church and society. I'm Asasha Lisbeth with sign language interpretation by Eric Maluki. Thank you for watching and stay blessed.
Keep watching Capuchin TV, your staunchly Catholic identity channel. You are watching Capuchin TV. For any complaints, comments, or